How many of you in here tonight are designers? Just show your hands. Quite a few, kind of 50-50, I think. And how many of you are really passionate about what you do? Oh, damn. Okay. So let's forget the book then. How many of you think you have your life, you're really passionate about what you do, your career and everything? How much do you think you have a balance? Yeah? Oh, that's good. It's not good to hear that. That's incredibly sad for all of us that we kind of are passionate about what we do. We put 100%, 110%, 120% into our careers, but quite often we put, that's better, thank you, we put our personal life on hold. We kind of focus on everything else but ourselves. So I asked that question because it's really important. And I guess that's, for me, the start of the book. I'd like to kind of talk through the book and how it kind of came about. And also want to talk about kind of 3 chapters I'm going to talk to you about this in the book, which I think are quite cool. Obviously, I'm a designer as well. A lot of you guys are designers here too. What kind of doing the book and kind of in the process of my life as it continues, I go through phases of, I have ups and downs. Sometimes I feel really great and I love what I do and I feel very passionate about that. Other times I feel I can be tired, I can be exhausted, I can be overworked, etc., and overweight. And it's those moments when I'm kind of alone at home in bed thinking, oh my God, I should be at work and I'm exhausted and stuff, that I start to kind of think about my mind being kind of quite crazy. I realize that, I have a bit of a monkey mind. I think a lot of us do, kind of constantly questioning, asking questions and thinking, all kinds of things. And, that's what makes, I think, it helps certainly me to be a better designer by being passionate about trying to solve problems and kind of uncover new ideas and kind of trying to find the stuff. So I thought this was quite funny. You guys may have seen it before. I'm sorry, I'm blocking it. How many designers does it take to change a light bulb? This is in the book. And the answer is, does it have to be a light bulb? And I think that's the kind of crazy people that we are. We just constantly, we can't accept any kind of rules. We can't accept the guidelines. This is a different kind of book. It's not like a book I did previously, which was Sorry Trees, which was a book of kind of the 10 years of last 10 years of our work. In fact, it's quite interesting that that book that came out at the Opera House in 2006 had an exhibition there at the same time. Everybody who bought that book or had that book, the only thing they said was, it's incredibly light. And that made me laugh. Again, I'm laughing again. But it made me feel it's quite funny because it actually was a very big book, a very thick book, 400 pages. But the only comment that came from it was it's very light. And that, talking about the physicality of it versus what was in it, I hope. So this book is very different. It's not a book of my work or the studio's work. This is a book really about designing your life and about kind of a personal journey, which I think we all go through. And it really is in the category of a self-help book, And Penguin, I guess, are kind of slightly concerned about where that sits, and we talked about it. Is it design? Is it self-help? And I certainly think it fits in between the two. So this is the inside cover, which is, this is not a shelf-help book. So this is not a book that you're going to get, like most people do, is going to buy it, put it on your shelf, and it kind of sits there. I've got 3,000 of those books at home. So Design Your Life is 3 incredibly strong words, little words, but very strong words. And together, it's a phenomenal statement. And it's something which I really believe in, because we spend, as a business and as in my career, I've spent 25 years, probably more, helping other people look better, helping other people solve problems, and how to take their problems and actually try to simplify the solutions and come back with ideas that are going to be strong, unique, and powerful for them. So we're constantly helping people on a daily basis. They have a deadline. They pay us a certain amount of money to do the job and to finish the job by a certain time. My personal life was very much on hold. I've got 3 kids. I moved to many countries. I've done lots of things, but it's pretty much been based around, as I said, probably 90% of my life is what I do. And what I do, I absolutely love. So I kind of thought through going through one of my many midlife crises, which I've had since I was 20, And when I've been sick and with the flu, I think man flu as they call it, I've kind of looked at my life and going, you know what, I need to do something about this. You know, I'm actually getting older. I need to look at how do I make my life, you know, look at my kind of my health, my well-being, and try to ensure that I am actually the best that I can be. I'm trying to make everybody else the best they can be. I need to make myself the best I can be. And I wish I'd started a long time ago, realizing how everything that I do and everything I think and what I put in my body has a significant effect on what I do going forward. So I really believe that you can design your life as much as you can design a brand, as a signage, a wayfinding, a product. You can see this book as Design Your Life, but Design Your Life really, it doesn't say by Vince Frost, it's Design Your Life Vince Frost. And that, for me, is like a constant reminder that I need to design my life. And it's something that doesn't just stop and start. It's something that is continual, something that happens every day. I feel kind of, you know, today I felt incredibly, oh God, sorry guys, you're not seeing all this. I'll tilt this way a bit. Okay. You can see it afterwards, yeah. God, where was I going? So even, you know, today I feel like a fraud. I feel like I'm standing here. I've gained 5 kilos since I wrote the book. You know, I'm not, it's a continual thing. It's something that you got to work at. And I guess I realize now that it's something that you don't fix one day and then you fix forever. It's something that you just keep chipping away at. So there you go. So design principles are very much part of, you know, what we use in our everyday life, in everyday work, utilizing that in design. Now, I think what's really interesting is design is a word that's kind of seen as being kind of cool people in jeans and Converse, long hair, etc., like Alex. Yeah, beautiful long hair. Yeah, mine too, geez. Let's not go there. We can't solve that problem. But it's interesting, this wonderful quote by Victor Papanek from a book he wrote in 1985 called Design for the Real World, is he says, all women and children are designers. All that we do almost all the time is design. For design is basic to all humanity. The planning and patterning of any act toward a desired, foreseeable end constitutes the design process. That's a bit of a long sentence, that one. Any attempt to separate design to make it a thing by itself works counter to the fact that design is the primary underlying matrix of life. And I think that's really cool, because what it makes me think is that, you know, today people think designers are architects, graphic designers, interior designers, et cetera, but really all of us are designers. We're all born to think. Design is thinking. It's like thinking about problems, new ideas. That's how we evolve as people. And I think that is wonderful. I think it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of, a lot of people who aren't, you know, called designers feel that they're not adequate. They can't think. They're not entitled to have ideas and come up with stuff because they're not gone through a couple-year, you know, training scheme. I mean, I have clients like Lisa here, who's a fantastic thinker, a fantastic designer, and a fantastic client. And I think that no, I didn't mean to pick on you, just sitting right there. But I think it's really, ideas can come from anywhere and from anybody, and I think that's really, really important. So this book is not specifically for designers. A lot of designers will like it because it's got the word design in it. But it's really, I want it to be for anybody, any person here or around the country who needs help, and we all need help. I mean, I also believe that, you know, I'm certainly in business because I want to help people. The money is secondary. The key focus is on whatever we do, whether it's a charity, a big corporation, an individual. We want to help them be the best they possibly can be in their business. So I also believe you can do that in your everyday life. So, good timing, Adam. Adam's just arrived. Adam helped me for like 3 months at my house work on putting this book together, and this was a very big job. It was 300 pages. Had to run a business at the same time and do lots of other things. Pack lunches every morning, you know, all this kind of stuff, everyday stuff. It was a very big project. I enjoyed walking around on it, but it was actually, what I love about this quote is designing your life isn't about certainty, and it's about incremental change for the better. So it's not about going, okay, blah, blah, it's all fixed. Like a project, like a book is done. I mean, the book is done, it's finished, it's out, it's printed. You know, yes, it could always be better, but with life, It's just about this kind of chipping away at it, and as things change, as you grow older, you experience new things, and you kind of grow as a person. Throughout the book, there's some very simple advice. It's not brain science. It's really simple things like pace yourself. And being passionate about typography and words, etc., I just have fun with that. So what would be a very boring statement, I quite like kind of putting a bit of kind of tracking in that. Be decisive. Adam worked on this one. He knows how indecisive I am. I spent 3 months working on this book, and well, more. It's a lifetime, I guess. But committing to something is quite hard. Committing to something, normally the deadline kind of is the cutoff point, and prior to that, you kind of just try all kinds of stuff. So, be decisive. It's either yes or no, and not maybe. Interestingly, I don't know if you guys know about designing and making a book. There's a lot of work involved in that, and it takes a big team. And I'll thank the team afterwards who were involved in the project. It's a huge amount of work, and you try your best to kind of make sure that everything is perfect, because once it's printed, it's committed. You're printing, thousands of these things. Out of the whole book, the only flaw I could find so far, and you might find more flaws, was this wonderful quote by Samuel Beckett: "Try again, fail again better." For some reason, the book came back from China, and the type infilled some of the characters, which I thought that's what it's meant to look like. But I thought it was weird. Someone's done that on purpose. Maybe Mia arranged that just to give me something more to talk about. But I think that's quite cool, and it really is a symbol of things can always get better or worse in that case. Now, there's chapters throughout the book that are kind of principles. They're not necessarily design principles, not all of them. I'm not saying use these colors or these shapes and whatever composition. It's much more about kind of life principles that I live by. And I think that one thing I learned at a very young age when I was left art college was I got the buzz for design, and I really wanted to learn more. I wanted to kind of fast track my career. I realized that what I learned at college in the 2 years that I did my course, that it was very light. It wasn't anything in depth. It wasn't even a degree. It was a diploma. But doesn't really make a difference to me. But it was kind of it opened a door for me. And what I wanted to do then was to kind of continue to learn as we do in life. It's really important that every day that we have new experiences, we have new opportunities, we meet new people who open our eyes and teach us new things. So I think what's really important for anybody in their life is to find a mentor. I've called it kind of leapfrog or shadow a star. Find somebody in your life through a friend or people you know, and work with them and try, get advice. And what that does, it helps you kind of make less mistakes. It helps you to see things in a kind of more mature perspective. So I think that whether it's your bank manager, a coach, and things like that. In the book, I talk about two guys at Pentagram where I used to work in London when I first started out at the age kind of 22 or something or other. The guy called Alan Fletcher and Kenneth Grange. And Alan Fletcher was my god in terms of designer. He was about 70 years old at the time, and kind of a gruff kind of English guy, very clever, very artistic. He did wonderful. He could do everything. He did amazing identities for big corporations and V&A, D&AD, organizations like that. But he also was very playful and creative in his downtime. He was just always creative. He always had it turned on, and that excited me. And I watched him from afar. I remember sitting in the office every day, kind of watching how he walked, how he smoked at the time in the office, and things like that. But that really inspired me and taught me a lot. He didn't know he was teaching me, but he did. That's one of his little guys on the right. He's died, unfortunately. But he taught me that it was about, being creative isn't a job. Being creative I wouldn't say creative, just whatever you're doing doesn't necessarily have to be perceived as being a job. It doesn't have to be perceived as being 9 to 5. That's the time that you do that thing, but it's something that he lived 24/7. He did it all the time, and I think I was inspired by that playfulness, that determination, and the determination to kind of do good. Kenneth Grange, on the other hand, was a product designer. You'd know him, Alex. He's still around. He designed trains and cameras and all kinds of stuff. And I remember one night working back late, which I did at the time. You know, they worked till 4 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 3 nights in a row. We'd work through 3 days without sleep. And one night I just thought, I'm going to go sit on lie on Kenneth's chair. And he was kind of tucked behind his office. And I fell asleep. And I remember one morning at 8:30, he came in and kind of said, "What the fuck are you doing in my chair?" At the top of his voice. And I just jumped out of my pants and kind of, went back to work. But he wasn't a great mentor. He kind of taught me how I didn't want to be. It's like there's good to see that as well. So really, when you're starting out or in life, it's really to be open to looking, to seeing, to listening, to being open to things. I advise people, don't be closed, don't be a shut door, don't think you know everything. Luca, my son Luca's just come in. Picking on you. But it's one thing that I learned is that you just, as I said earlier, you never stop learning. That life is like that, and it's exciting because of that. Can you imagine how boring it would be if you knew everything from the moment you were born? I mean, it'd be hell. So I would say continue to find help, find advice. It's never too late to do such. You can't make someone yearn to learn. You can't make someone passionate about doing it. But think about it. Think about the difference it makes if you really are hungry to change, hungry to improve your life in whatever way. Try to avoid mistakes. I think that there's another excuse to play around with typography, but why make mistakes if you don't have to? Why kind of go through life as if it's kind of you're the first person that ever lived, and I've done that for a long time, and try to avoid making the mistakes that others have made and seek advice in that way. The comfort zone, I think, is really important. I think it's very important to every day, whatever you do, try to go outside your comfort zone. Sorry, I'm moving around a lot. You're right. I'm not sure if I am or I was a huge procrastinator. I think I still am. I mean, it's really, if I can avoid doing something, unless I like it, if it's hard, I'll just go into meltdown, and I think that thank God for deadlines. I mean, that's the thing that's actually helped me become a serial procrastinator, because deadlines force us to, and sometimes we miss the deadlines, Lisa, sorry. It forces us to be in a situation where we know there is a deadline and we have to achieve that. We have to get to that point. Our personal lives, we don't kind of have so many deadlines. The deadlines are kind of movable. You can move them around until they kind of try to hope they go away. I think push yourself, get into situations, and we do. I'm in one today. I'm in one right now. I'm outside my comfort zone, and I'm hopefully going to come out the better for that. And that's something which I think there's an opportunity to do that. Don't be scared of things being difficult. I mean, if it's life-threatening, don't do it. But if it's something which you go, you know what, this is really slightly uncomfortable. If you can see the potential in getting through that, if you really want to get through that, then just persevere, and you will do that. I've had some amazing experiences working in different countries. Japan, Vogue was one of them. And it was like 2000. Luca was 6 months old, and we moved there. I was art director of Japanese Vogue to help them launch it. And that was a nightmare. I went outside my comfort zone, but I actually went so outside my comfort zone. I absolutely love Japan, and me as Japanese, which is fantastic, and get to see more of Japan now and understand the culture better. But it was a situation where I probably shouldn't have done that job. I shouldn't have committed to go live in Japan because I didn't, I wasn't a art director of a fashion magazine. I know nothing, you can see, I know nothing about fashion. I bought a whole bunch of Comme des Garçons clothes, which were all kind of up to here. And it was phenomenally humid, and I was sweating profusely every day. So I was kind of like, it was incredibly difficult. I didn't speak the language. I kept getting lost on the trains. Taxi drivers got annoyed me because I tried to rip the doors off. It was incredibly difficult, and I persevered for probably 9 months until I was fired, which was, I cried. I have to say, I cried in that meeting when the head of Comme des Garçons came in and said, you're fired. It's not working out. I didn't know when to stop. I knew it was phenomenally hard, but I couldn't give in. And I think that what that taught me now is that, the pay was pretty good, and the things like that are attractive, but that's actually not the most important thing for you going forward. It doesn't necessarily bring you happiness. So I learned from that you can really be pushed into a really hard place, and you still can come out strong from that. You can have a terrible experience, but still come out kind of smiling once you stop limping and things like that, feeling sorry for yourself. You come out in a situation where you are better for that experience. Not long after that, we moved to Australia. That was another huge journey, but actually it was incredibly easier because of language, but also because of that previous experience, which actually taught me. So push yourself hard. For me, it's really important to kind of grow your mind. You're constantly thinking, constantly feeding your mind with new stimuluses. I guess that's why you guys are here. You guys are, hopefully I'm saying stuff that you will find interesting or benefit from. Or maybe what it does, which hopefully it does, is it reassures you that we all have the same thoughts. I mean, I think for a long time, I thought I was an idiot, a lunatic. I thought I just was a crazy person that didn't know anything, that kind of wasn't confident, didn't know how the world worked. And the more people I talk to now, I realize we're all lunatics. We're all in a situation where, when people break down their barriers and open about stuff, they have self-doubt. They don't know everything, and they feel in a similar way too, which I think, I guess is just human nature. Most people kind of hide that, they disguise that in many different ways. I thought it was a really lovely quote by Richard Branson. If someone offers you an amazing opportunity and you're not sure you can do it, say yes, then learn how to do it later. And I think that's really cool. And I think our business, we do that. We do that every day where, we take on a job and go, afterwards go, yeah, we won it. How are we going to do it? Or, will we do it? It's a new thing that we've convinced the client that we're going to do. We've done it a few times. Hopefully we pulled it off sometimes. It can be scary. It can be, some people may think that's stupid, but actually that's how you progress and that's how you move forward. And certainly in design, that's how things move forward. Step outside your comfort zone. Again, this is just a spread. You might open the book one day and just kind of look at a spread and go, you know what, I need to do that and refer to that. Or get a poster. There's some posters here too that have the same kind of messaging. Don't start being a kid. I think this is really important. And having kids has taught me that, watching them grow up, watching them learning, coming unstuck, watching their successes, etc., has taught me the importance of, and certainly in the work as well, just be playful, be open, experiment, try things, look at things with fresh eyes. And I think that there's a quote here which I think is lovely from Tom Dixon, which says, "I prefer coming to a field with as little knowledge as possible, trying to look at it with childlike eyes." And I want to do the same. And people think that's ignorance. Sometimes you go into a meeting, everybody says, "Oh, so-and-so, this and so that." And I go, yeah. I pretend I know these famous people who they're talking about. And the reality is that I don't. And I kind of, for a long time, felt that was actually a disadvantage. And I think that actually is, depends on what if you want to have a conversation around that stuff, it's quite hard. But when you go into a project or into an opportunity, to know a little about it or nothing about it is quite cool if you're open to the idea of learning more and kind of digging deeper, finding the gold, finding the magic, finding the clues that come to the surface once you start digging away at it. And I think that's something that, with every job that we do, we want to do that. We want to kind of tap away to find something which is absolutely unique about that project that only can be utilized in that way. And the same thing with your life. We're all unique. We're all individuals, and we all have our different differences. I mean, my Uncle Rod, crazy creators running the family. This is Uncle Rod here, and this is in Canada. And he used to design. Well, he learned about the Canadian Indians' art, and he actually spent a lot of his time in Manitoulin Island teaching the Canadian Indians their art, their craft back, totem pole making, teepees, all this kind of stuff, which is quite incredible. He is a phenomenal guy. Very embarrassing though. One summer he comes down from Toronto down to White Rock near Vancouver where we lived, with these big poles and this big canvas thing on the roof, and we were going camping. Everybody else in the neighborhood went out in Winnebagos. Had color TVs in their Winnebago, and he turns up with this thing. We were smiling here because it was in our back garden, but when we went to the campsite, we were surrounded by all these very Winnebagos and flashy tents and stuff like that, and I was seriously embarrassed. When we drove through the entry to the campground, it said, $50 for a Winnebago, something for a tent, blah, blah, blah. He goes, how much for a teepee? And we're like, oh, we're cringing in the back. What also happened, which is not in the book, is that my dad then got so excited about the teepee, he got his brother to make him one as well. So we had a few years of camping in teepees after that point. I put this in there because my kids are incredibly important for me. They're very much part of my life. And I don't see my life as being kind of, work, home, kids, whatever. It's one thing. And I kind of, I love it for being that way. And I think that, Luca and Louis have grown up a bit more since then. But, that playfulness, those memories of having fun, that's just kind of, there's no particular purpose. Be positive. I know that looks great on a spread, and it's very simple. And that font's fantastic too. That is circular, which is a very expensive font, but it's absolutely beautiful. Be positive is like, it's obvious, isn't it, to be positive as opposed to being negative? But so many people are negative, and so many people see the negative. They don't see the opportunities they have in front of them. I mean, I can see them every day walking down the street, or working on a project or whatever. You just see that, and I think that I've learned, and from my parents, is that being positive in life attracts other positive things. If you have a can-do attitude, which is very Australian, you have an attitude of being positive about things, good things can come back to you. The same thing if you're negative about things, or you're down, which we all get in a situation, I think you'll find quite often negative things will happen to you as well. Kind of dig deep, look for, as I said before, look for the clues, find the solutions, and you do that in your everyday life. Give time to solving your own problems. Give time, and try to do that. And it's a hard thing to do. If you look at my diary, it's as an absolute kind of patchwork of meetings and things like that. It's trying to find time in your life, and make time in your life, make it a priority, where you can actually focus on solving some of the problems that you've maybe been carrying around for a long time. Throughout the book, there's about 15 or 13 different people who I respect and admire, who I've interviewed around their careers. There's a Ewan Jaspin, who's kind of 20-year-old #1 Australian kite surfer, is wanting to find out what motivates him. How does he have a balance in his life? What makes him tick? Things like that. Chris Sanderson from LSN trend guys in London. They're constantly looking at the wire. They're trying to find out what's the latest trend in all the different kind of areas. Fascinating people, and very much. This book isn't just about me. It's about other people and how other people kind of solve problems and handle their lives. That's not fetish, that's fetish. So find a balance in your life, Again, nice typographic play, but looking at the idea of being fetish, not trying to be a Superman, I've tried that. That doesn't work. That was me yesterday going for a run around Centennial Park, and I thought, I look like that tree. That's how I feel. You know, I really want to be like this tree. You know, and I saw that, and I go, you know, and then really, I really ideally have that kind of, you know, foliage on my head. But no, I am definitely that tree. Now, as I said, when was it? When Julie Gibbs came to me, probably a couple of years ago now, to talk about doing this book. After I did a talk at the Apple Store in 2011 down here, and it was around designing your life as an idea, and I kind of played around with that idea. I thought that I was at a time where I was really questioning a lot of things in my life, and I wanted to focus on improving things, and I did improve things, and that's why it helped me with the book in terms of, you know, stopping drinking alcohol. I haven't drank alcohol for 2 years. Coffee, I exercise, not lately so much, but I exercise a lot and lost 10 kilos. Got my cholesterol down from 9 to 4. Did a lot of things that kind of, you know, doctors said, oh, don't bother, just take this medicine and you'll be, you know, you're not going to do it. And it just takes that kind of steady perseverance, the idea of being fictitious, the idea of kind of keeping a steady kind of, you know, working on it versus doing binge training or binge drinking or binge, you know, correcting yourself. And I think that so that's something I learned, is that try to kind of keep a steady kind of mind at that. I think that, you know, quite often when I got sick, I'd go, oh my God, I'd look in the mirror, or I'd, you know, when you go on a holiday and you go, oh my God, I got 2 weeks to get fit. You know, it's just not going to work. You know, when you're younger, you probably can bounce back much quicker. But I would have the feeling, oh my God, I need to get fit right now. I need to fix it because I was so scared. So, as I said, it's something that you need to kind of continue to work on. Did you know that like 1 bottle of wine equals 9 slices of bread? For a long time, I said there was 1 glass of wine was 9 slices of bread. So it made me more determined to not eating so much bread. But that's quite a huge consumption. And I mean, I was drinking loaves and loaves. You know, I got to the point I was drinking probably 2 bottles of wine a night, which is absolutely insane, and not even feeling it. Also, naturopath taught me that eat your fist size, and I think that's really interesting. We eat like huge mounds of food often when we go to restaurants and stuff. We serve ourselves a lot. We're really designed to eat our fist size, and that in every meal that we do, and that kind of is really simple and obvious advice. Consume less of everything. We don't need so much stuff. We don't need so much crap that we buy and we clutter our lives with. You know, we just, you know, spring clean your life. Have a look at it again. You know, kind of have a look at it with fresh eyes. Think about what's really important for you, what you need, what you don't need, and live light. I think that's really important. There's a chapter in the book about living light. And I really love this quote. It's they were by some people. All these quotes are in the book, but because of the whole kind of using that, getting permission to use it, some things had to become, you know, popular saying. I can't remember who this was, but I love it. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. And the idea of giving is so important to me. The idea of give over take. You know, the idea of contributing to the world in a positive way in everything that we do. You know. And that's something which I really, really strongly believe in. That's the cover. Hold on 1 second. I think there's something. I fell out with my naturopath, which is quite funny. Her fees went up, and she started getting incredibly bossy. And it was quite funny. She emailed me this. Not the other day. Just before we're going to print, we're trying to think what's on the back cover. You know, what should I put on the back cover? It's a bit of synopsis and blurb. And I thought, wow, my God, that's perfect. You know, that sums it up. Trust yourself. Listen to your gut. Make your own decisions and believe in yourself. That's something which really resonates with me, even though I doubt, you know, I don't do a lot of that all the time. You know, listening to your gut is so important. Your intuition is something inside of you that's just telling you what to do. It guides you through life. It tells you what's a good thing to do, what's not a good thing to do. It helps you make those decisions. And I think that quite often you guys would experience this when you listen to that, when you feel something with your whole entire body, and you have that tingling feeling, is something which is a really clear sign that that is the thing to do. Whether it's in a person you're attracted to, or an idea for a project, or an idea for moving to a country, or whatever it is. So it's really important to do that. I think a lot of people don't listen to themselves. They don't listen to their intuition. In a way, it's kind of frowned on and seen as being hokey versus it having any real value. But I certainly believe in that.